Dakari Johnson back outside. This is the point where he always hits it.
In my opinion, the best time of the year. March Madness is finally upon us. We are doing a bracket challenge. The winner will win $200. Again, I will leave that down below. Make sure you guys enter into our group. It's literally just called Let's Talk Sports, so it should be pretty easy to find. All you have to do is have an ESPN account, make it your name on YouTube or your Twitter or whatever. That way I can find the winner. Please make sure you guys do subscribe to the channel. That is all I ask. Again, winner receives $200. And yeah, guys, let's hop into my picks. We're going to start in the West region. Now, this is actually my region of upsets. You may see me look to my right. It's only because I have some notes for each team's there. But the first game we're going to go with is Gonzaga. I'm not crazy to go against Gonzaga. Perfect season. Can they make a perfect run? I guess we'll see. Then we have Oklahoma versus Missouri in an 8-9 game. SEC versus Big 12. We had the SEC versus Big 12 challenge earlier this year. I think the SEC actually won, even though a bunch of the SEC bad teams didn't end up playing. I like Lon Kruger. I like Austin Reeves. Missouri is slumped after a hot start. I am going to go with Oklahoma. Maybe a little Big 12 bias here. Up next, we have a 5-12 matchup between Creighton and UC Santa Barbara. I need a 12-5 upset and went with a team that's red hot right now. Creighton lives and dies by their shooting. They could easily blow out Santa Barbara, or we could see the Big East Championship 2.0. Creighton has a lot of experience. They have a lot of guys that have been there for a while. I don't know if this is going to happen, but like I said, statistically, there is at least one 5-12 upset every single year. Up next, we have Virginia versus Ohio. I know, it's going to seem like I'm insane. We are going right into my only upsets. Not only upsets, but some of my biggest upsets. I actually have Ohio here. I know, I sound crazy. Ohio's a talented and balanced offensive team that took Illinois to the wire back in November. Virginia has COVID issues, which led them to withdraw from the ACC tournament. I think Ohio can get it done. Again, I might be a little crazy. You don't go against Virginia, but if anyone, in my opinion, any of the 13, 14, or 15 seeds can do it, I think it is Ohio. Moving on to the 6-11 game, I first had Drake, right? Because Drake's top scorer is going to finally be back. But then I thought I can't go against Evan Mobley. USC has a massive front court, as one of the top rebounding and shot blocking teams in the country. Now, saying that, I am tempted to take whoever does win the Wichita State Drake game, but I am going to go with USC for right now. Don't be surprised if I switch those picks come Thursday. As long as David McCormack is back, I don't see the Jayhawks losing this game. I know Eastern Washington just scored a crazy rate, though. Up next, we have Oregon versus VCU. Dana Altman and Chris Duarte. Team has upperclassmen and is well coached. I really, really, really like Oregon. You're going to see how much I like Oregon in a bit. Up next, we have Iowa versus Grand Canyon. I live like 20 minutes from Grand Canyon University, so this one hurts, but I can't go against Iowa. And then we're gonna go up to the South next. Then we have Baylor. What more is there to say? Come on. Up next, we have Wisconsin versus North Carolina. In my opinion, one of the better games of the first round. Two storied programs. I'm so conflicted here, guys. This game's so tough, but I think I'm going to lean with Wisconsin. I just think the Big Ten's tougher than the ACC, and hopefully that's going to help out Wisconsin. Then we have Villanova versus Winthrop. Obviously, the loss of Colin Gillespie hurts, but this team can still score, and I'm not going against Jay Wright, so we are going to go with Villanova. A very popular 12-5 upset here. Purdue versus North Texas. Travion Williams, what more is there to say? I like him and Purdue. Now, saying that, the Boilermakers are a young team, so that is my only concern, but I am still going to ride with Purdue. Texas Tech versus Utah State. Oof. Okay, Texas Tech. I like their defense and their ability to force turnovers. You'll hear me say this throughout the video. Every year it feels like a top Big 12 team goes down in the first round. If it's West Virginia, if it's not really Kansas, but yeah, I worry that one of these Big 12 teams is going to lose, but at the same time, I'm not going to pick against Chris Beard. Arkansas versus Colgate. This game is going to be like 90-95. I still like Arkansas. Won 12 of their final 13 games before falling to LSU in the conference semis. Again, it's going to be so high scoring, but I am going to go with Arkansas. Florida versus Virginia Tech. It's all about Trey Mann here for me. With the loss of Keontae Johnson to a health scare, Mann has stepped up. The Hokies had 5 of their last 8 games canceled due to COVID-19, and they lost 2 of the 3 games they did play. Give me the Gators here. Ohio State versus Oral Roberts. Ohio State, come on, guys. Moving on to the East region. No, let's do the Midwest region because I think this is the toughest region in my opinion. Okay, so we're going to move on to Illinois versus Drexel. Illinois, obviously. Loyola Chicago versus Georgia Tech. I think Loyola Chicago was done a little dirty by the committee. The net loves the Ramblers, so I'm going to ride with them. Then we have Tennessee versus Oregon State. Keon Johnson and Jaden Springer. Team that lacks consistency, and it's still yet to be seen if John Fulkerson is able to return from his head injury. As for Oregon State, what a run in the Pac-12 tourney, props to them. I still just think there's too much talent in Tennessee. This is a team that hasn't been able to get it going all year. They'll look great one game, look terrible the next. Hopefully they can put it all together. This is definitely a team that has the talent to make a run in the tournament. Oklahoma State versus Liberty. Somebody please tell me how Oklahoma State's a 4 and West Virginia's a 3. When Oklahoma State, I think, beat them maybe twice in the last 2 weeks. Anyways, I'm going with Cade Cunningham and Oklahoma State. Then we have San Diego State versus Syracuse. Top 10 team in defense. Pretty sure the Aztecs have the longest winning streak, or the second longest winning streak, obviously behind Gonzaga. Somebody fact check me on that. I don't know if going against Jim Boeheim is a bad idea, but I'm still going to ride with San Diego State. Then we have West Virginia versus Morehead State. Like I said previously, every year a high-ranked Big 12 school loses in the first round, saying that Derek Culver and Miles McBride should take care of business. And finally, to close out the Midwest, we have Clemson versus Rutgers. In my opinion, two of the more overrated teams in the tournament. Again, I think the Big Ten is going to leave Rutgers battle-tested. I do like them. Then finally, we have Houston versus Cleveland State. It's all about Quentin Grimes here. Cleveland State is low-key a sleeper, only lost to Ohio State by 6 early in the year. If they're playing somebody else, not Houston, I think I'd probably take them, but I just can't go against Houston here. Finally, moving on to the East region, I've already taken Michigan. We're going to take Michigan there. Then LSU versus St. Bonaventura. I think LSU versus the Bonnies is probably the best game, in my opinion, of the first round. This is just an incredible matchup. Cam Thomas, Trendon Watford, and Javonte Smart are absolute studs. But there's something telling me that the Bonnies are going to find a way to get it done with their defense. So I am going to go with St. Bonnies. Don't be surprised if I do flip that before come Friday. Then we have Colorado versus Georgetown. Colorado, of course, led by their star point guard, McKinley Wright, who I absolutely love. And I believe they have tied for the greatest free throw shooting team in NCAA history, which is just insane. Tough task ahead with a red-hot Georgetown team that just won the Big East, but I'm still going to ride with Colorado. Then we have Florida State versus UNC Greensboro. I love Florida State. I think they're built for the tournament with their depth and experience. I'm going to go with Florida State. BYU versus the winner of Michigan State UCLA. So I have Michigan State winning the play-in, and then actually I'm going to take Michigan State versus BYU. I never take teams that win their play-ins, but if you look at the stats, almost every single year, at least one play-in team will win that first-round matchup. So I am going to ride with Michigan State to beat UCLA and then knock off a solid BYU team, especially if Rocket Watts can finally get going. Then we have Texas versus Abilene Christian. I'm a big Horns fan, so I'm going to take Texas and Shaka Smart. Then we have UConn versus Maryland. I wish UConn was in a different region because I love UConn and I love James Bouknight. Ever since he came back from injury, they have been awesome. Plus, they are a very, very good defensive team. So I am going to go with UConn. Then we have Alabama versus Iona. Alabama is Alabama, led by Herbert Jones. The team shoots the 3-ball lights out, but can also defend. So there is all my first round matchups. As for the second round, I am going to take Gonzaga over Oklahoma. I'm going to take Ohio over Santa Barbara. I like Kansas over whoever wins this. Again, I'm still don't know who I'm picking here, to be honest with you guys. I'm kind of leaning towards the 11, but I just feel like that's too many upsets in one region. So I'm going to go with Kansas here and Bill Self. Then we have Oregon versus Iowa, my first real big upset of the second round. I do like Oregon. I love Chris Duarte. I think he's an absolute stud. If Oregon's healthy, I think they are a real sleeper in this tournament. Give me Oregon over Iowa. Then we have Michigan versus St. Bonnie's. I like Michigan here. I just don't see them. 1 seeds have an incredible record against 9s. So I am going to take Michigan here. Then we have Colorado versus Florida State. This is such a tough game for me, but again, I like Florida State's depth. I'm going with Florida State. Then we have Texas versus Michigan State UCLA. Hook 'em, baby. I can't go against Texas here. And then finally, UConn versus Alabama, which I think this would be an incredible game. I'm tempted to take UConn, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with Alabama. Moving on to the Midwest, I like Illinois versus Loyola Chicago. I like Oklahoma State and Cade Cunningham versus Tennessee. For me, it's not even as much about Cade Cunningham. You know what you're going to get out of him, but it's guys like Avery Anderson and Caleb Boone who need to step up to help this team make a deep run. I still do like Oklahoma State here. I like San Diego State over West Virginia. I just think West Virginia, like I said, one of these Big 12 teams is going to fall. I just don't know which one it's going to be. It easily could be Texas, by the way. I think that's really important to mention. Then I like Houston versus Rutgers. Finally, we're going to move up to the South where I like Baylor versus Wisconsin. I think this could be a really good game, to be fair. Then I like Villanova versus Purdue. Again, Jay Wright, people are still sleeping on Villanova. They still have 3 guys who score in double digits. Don't be surprised if Villanova still is able to make a little bit of noise. I know they're a big upset and they haven't looked great as of late, but don't ever rule out Jay Wright. Then we have Texas Tech versus Arkansas, and I do like Texas Tech here to get it done. I just think Chris Beard, what he did a few years ago was so impressive. The team has talent, just a matter if they can put it all together. And then finally we have Ohio State versus Florida. Give me Ohio State here. As for my Sweet 16 matchups, I like Gonzaga. I'm on the Jalen Suggs hype train, so I'm going to be riding Gonzaga for a while here. Then I like Oregon versus Kansas. Again, like I said, guys, Oregon is my sleeper. Maybe Oregon will lose in the first round. You guys come back to this video and laugh at me, but I do like Oregon. As for Baylor versus Villanova, give me Baylor. And as for Texas Tech versus Ohio State, I like Ohio State. I think that Big Ten tournament showed what they're all about. As for the East region, I'm going to go with Florida State over Michigan. The loss of Livers just hurts Michigan so badly, man. If they had Livers, I'd probably have them in my championship or winning it all. Again, I like Florida State's depth. I think they're a really, really, really good basketball team. And as much as it hurts me to say, I like Alabama over Texas. I know, hook 'em, but Alabama, I just think how well they shoot the 3 ball, the fact that they can defend. Texas goes on a lot of 5-6 minute scoring droughts, and if that's the case, I think Alabama could, go up 10, 15, and Texas could be in some real trouble here. In the Midwest, I like Illinois versus Oklahoma State. I think that'd be an awesome game. And I like Houston versus San Diego State. I think a lot of people overlook Houston because of the conference they play in, but they're a very, very good basketball team. And then here, I'm going to take Alabama over Florida State, and I'm going to take Illinois over Houston. As for the West region, guys, I know I may seem insane here. I'm taking Oregon versus Gonzaga, but if you look at the stats, a 7 to 11 seed has made the Final Four every single year in the last 10 years, except for twice. So Oregon is going to be that team for me. I can't have 3 1 seeds. You see a trend of 2 1 seeds, but rarely 3 1 seeds all make it. Saying that, as you know now, I'm taking Baylor over Ohio State. So in the Final Four, we have Oregon versus Alabama, and we have Baylor versus Illinois. I'm going to go with Alabama here. Unfortunately, that's where Oregon's Cinderella story ends for me, but I do also like Baylor. And finally, for the national championship, I think the Baylor Bears are going to get it done. Led by Jared Butler and Davion Mitchell. I think this is one of the deepest teams in all of college basketball. I've been so impressed with them all year long. I think for scoring, I went with like 79 to 72 or something like that. So there is my bracket. Again, some things may flip here and there. Make sure you do enter into our tournament, because if you win yourself $200 for free. Again, all you have to do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know your picks down below. Also, please make sure you do drop a like. Make sure you guys do drop a subscription. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys soon. Peace.